Shalom, shalom, Yashar. Shalom, shalom, Mashpaka. Shabbat shalom, all Yasharim, Kodashim, Natsarim. Hallelujah. This is Yom 6, reading the whole Caphar, the Sapar, in the 50th year of Yubal, to the end of 2022 through 23, and even a little bit of 24. Let me know if it's too loud. It's fine. Hanuk Ch.106. And after some days, my ban Matushalach took a wife for his ban Lamak, and she became pregnant by him, and bore a ban, and his body was white as snow, and red as blooming of a red rose, and the hair of his head and his long locks were white as wool, and his eyes pleasant. And when he opened his eyes, he lit up the whole house like the sun, and the whole house was very bright. And after that, he rose in the hand of the midwife, opened his mouth, and conversed with Yahuwah of righteousness. And his father Lamak was afraid of him, and fled, and came to his father Matushalach. And he said to him, I have begotten a strange ban, different from and unlike man, and resembling the banim of the Aluah, of the Shamayim. And his nature is different, and he is not like us, and his eyes are as the rays of the sun, and his face is magnificent. And it seems to me that he is not brought forth from me, but from the Malakim. And I fear that in his days a wonder might be wrought on the earth. And now, my father, I am here to petition and implore you that you may go to Hanuk, our father, and learn from him the truth, for his dwelling place is among the Malakim. Is it too loud? Is the music too loud? Please let me know. And when Matushalach heard the words of his ban, he came to me, to the ends of the earth, for he had heard that I was there. And he cried aloud, and I heard his voice. And I came to him, and I said to him, See, here I am, my ban. Why have you come to me? And he answered and said, Because of a great cause of anxiety I have come to you, and because of a disturbing vision I have approached. And now, my Abba, hear me unto Lamak, my ban. There has been born a ban, the like of whom there is none, and his nature is not like man's nature, and the color of his body is whiter than snow, and redder than the bloom of a rose, and the hair of his head is whiter than white wool, and his eyes are like the rays of the sun. And he opened his eyes, and after that lit up the whole house. And he rose in the hands of the midwife, and opened his mouth, and Baruch Yahuwah of the Shamayim. And his father Lamak became afraid, and fled to me, and did not believe that he was brought forth from him, but that he was in the likeness of the Malakim of the Shamayim. And see, I have come to you that you may make known to me the truth. And I, Hanuk, answered and said to him, Yahuwah will do a new matter on the earth, and this I have already seen in a vision, and make known to you that in the generation of my father Yarad, some of the Malakim of the Shamayim transgress the word of Yahuwah. And see, they commit sin, and transgress the law, and have united themselves with the women, and commit sin with them, and have married some of them, and have brought forth children by them. And they shall produce on the earth giants, not according to the Ruach, but according to the flesh. And there shall be a great punishment on the earth, and the earth shall be cleansed from all impurity. Therefore there shall come a great destruction over the whole earth, and there shall be a flood and a great destruction for 1 year. And this bond who has been born unto you shall be left on the earth. And he and his 3 children shall be saved with him, when all mankind that are on the earth shall die, and his banim shall be saved. And now make known to your ban Lamak that he who he has born is in truth his ban, and call his name Nuach, for he shall be left to you, and his banim shall be saved from the destruction which shall come upon the earth on account of all the sin and all the unrighteousness which shall be consummated on the earth in his days. And after that there shall be still more unrighteousness than that which was first consummated on the earth. For I know the mysteries of the Kudashim, for he, Yahuwah, has showed me and informed me, and I have read in the tablets of the Shamayim. Chapter 107. And I saw written, maybe it's cool way it was. And I saw written on them that generation upon generation shall transgress, till a generation of righteousness arises, and transgression is destroyed, and sin passes away from the earth, and all manner of tube comes upon it. And now, my bond, go and make known to your bond Lamak that this bond which has been born is in truth his bond, and that is no lie. And when Methuselah had heard the words of his father Hanuk, for he had shown to him all matters in secret, he returned and showed to him, and called the name of that bond Nuach, for he will comfort the earth after all the destruction. Chapter 108. Appendix to the book of Hanuk. Another book which Hanuk wrote for his bond Methuselah, and for those who will come after him, and keep the law in the last days. You have done too, shall wait for those days, till an end is made of those who work evil, and an end of the might of the transgressors, and wait indeed till sin has passed away. For their names shall be blotted out of the book of Chai, and out of the Kadash books, and their seed shall be destroyed forever, and their spirits shall be slain. And they shall cry and make lamentation in a place that is a wilderness of confusion, and in the fire they shall burn, for there is no earth there. And I saw there what looked like an invisible cloud, for because of its depth I could not look over. And I saw a flame of fire blazing brightly, and looked shining, mountains circling and sweeping to and fro. And I asked one of the Kadash Malakim who was with me, and said to him, What is this shining? For it is not the Shamayim, but only the flame of a blazing fire, and the voice of weeping and crying, and lamentation, and strong pain. And he said to me, This is the place which you see here are cast the spirits of sinners and blasphemers, and of those who work wickedness, and of those who pervert all matters, that Yahuwah has spoken through the mouth of the Nabim, the matters that shall be. For some of them are written and inscribed above in the Shamayim, in order that the Malakim may read them and know that which shall befall the sinners, and the spirits of the humble, the Ruach Kut of the humble, and of those who have afflicted their bodies, and have been recompensed by ALAHYM, and of those who have been put to shame by wicked men, who love ALAHYM, and loved neither gold nor silver, nor any of the pleasures which are in the world, but gave over their bodies to torture, who, since they came into being, did not long after earthly food, but regarded all matters as a passing breath, and lived accordingly. And Yahuwah tried them much, and their Ruach were found pure, who that they should barak his name. And all barakut destined for them I have recounted in the books, and he has assigned them their recompense, because they have been found to be such as loved the Shamayim more than their Chai in the world. And though they were trodden underfoot of wicked men, and experienced abuse and reviling from them, and were put to shame, yet they barak me. And now I will summon the spirits of the tube, who belong to the generation of light, and I will transform those who were born in darkness, who in the flesh were not recompensed with such honor as their trustworthiness deserved. And I will bring forth in shining light those who have loved my Kadash name, and I will seat each on the throne of his honor, and they shall be resplendent for generations without number. For righteousness is the judgment of ALAHYM. For the trustworthy he will give trustworthiness in the dwelling of upright paths, and they shall see those who were born in darkness led into darkness, while the righteous shall be resplendent, and the sinners shall cry aloud and see them resplendent, and they indeed will go where days and seasons are prescribed for them. Hallelujah, YAHUSHA. Yashar, chapter 5. And it came to be in the 84th year of the Chai of Nuach that Hanuk Ch. died. He was 905 years old at his death. And in the 179th year of the Chai of Nuach, Canaan, ban of Anush, died. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And in the 234th year of the Chai of Nuach, Mahalalel, ban of Canaan, died. And the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Yarad, ban of Mahalalel, died in those days, in the 336th year in the life of Nuach. And all the days of Yarad were 962 years, and he died. And all who followed Yahuwah died in those days, before they saw the evil which ALAHYM declared to do on earth. And after the passing of many years, in the 480th year of the life of Noah, when all those men who followed Yahuwah had died away from among the banim of men, and only Methuselah was then left, ALAHYM spoke to Noah and Methuselah, saying, Speak and proclaim to the banim of men, saying, Thus said Yahuwah, Return from your evil ways, and forsake your works, and Yahuwah will repent of the evil that he declared to do to you, so that it shall not come to pass. For thus said Yahuwah, see, I give you a period of 120 years. If you will turn to me and forsake your evil ways, then I will also turn away from the evil which I told you, and it shall not exist, said Yahuwah. And N.A.Y.A.L and Methuselah spoke all the words of Yahuwah to the Banim of men, day after day, constantly speaking to them. But the Banim of men would not listen to them, nor incline their ears to their words, and they were stiff-necked. And Yahuwah granted them a period of 120 years, saying, if they will return, then ALAHYM will repent of the evil, so as not to destroy the earth. Nuach, ban of Lamech, refrained taking a wife in those days to bring forth children, for he said, indeed now ALAHYM will destroy the earth, why then shall I bring forth children? And Nuach was a righteous man, he was perfect in his generation, and Yahuwah chose him to raise up seed from his seed upon the face of the earth. And Yahuwah said to Nuach, take for yourself a wife, and bring forth children, for I have seen you righteous before me in this generation. And you shall raise up seed, and your children with you, in the midst of the Arets. And Nuach went and took a wife, and he chose Naamah, the daughter of Hanuk, and she was 580 years old. And Nuach was 498 years old when he took Naamah for a wife. And Naamah conceived and bore a ban, and he called his name Japheth, saying, ALAHYM has enlarged me in the earth. And she conceived again and bore a ban, and he called his name Sham, saying, ALAHYM has made me a remnant to raise up seed in the midst of the earth. And Nuach was 502 years old when Naamah bore Sham. And the boys grew up and went in the ways of Yahuwah in all that Methuselah and Nuach their father had taught them. And Lamech, the father of Nuach, died in those days. Yet even so he did not go with all his heart in the ways of his father, and he died in the 195th year of the life of Nuach. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And all the Banim of men who knew Yahuwah died in that year before Yahuwah brought evil upon them. For Yahuwah willed them to die, so as not to see the evil that ALAHYM would bring upon their brothers and relatives, as he had so declared to do. And in that time Yahuwah said to Nuach and Methuselah, stand up and proclaim to the Banim of men all the words that I spoke to you in those days. Maybe they will turn from their evil ways, and I will then repent of the evil and will not bring it. And Nuach and Methuselah stood and spoke in the hearing of the Banim of men all that ALAHYM had spoken concerning them. But the Banim of men would not listen, neither would they incline their ears to all their words. And it came to be after this that Yahuwah said to Nuach, the end of all flesh is come before me because of their evil deeds, and see, I will destroy the earth. And take for yourself gopher wood, and go to a certain place, and make a large ark, and place it in that spot. And thus shall you make it 300 amah its length, 50 amah wide, and 30 amah high. And you shall make it for yourself a door open at its side, and to an amah you shall finish above, and cover it within and without with pitch. And see, I will bring the flood of the waters upon the Arets, and all flesh shall be destroyed from under the Shamayim. All that is upon the earth shall perish. And you and your household shall go and gather 2 of each of all living creatures male and female, and shall bring them to the ark, to raise up seed from them upon the earth, and gather unto all of you that is eaten by all the animals food, that there may be food for you and for them. And you shall choose for your banim 3 maidens from the daughters of men, and they shall be wives to your banim. And Noah rose up, and he made the ark in the place where ALAHYM had commanded him. And Noah did as ALAHYM had ordered him. In his 595th year, Noah began to make the ark, and he made the ark in 5 years, as Yahuwah had commanded. Then Noah took 3 daughters of Eliakim ban Methuselah for wives for his banim, as Yahuwah had commanded Noah. And it came to be at that time Methuselah ban of Hanuk died. He was 960 years old at his death. Chapter 6. At that time, after the death of Methuselah, Yahuwah said to Noah, Go with your household into the ark. See, I will gather to you all the animals of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the birds of the air, and they shall all come and surround the ark. And you shall go and seat yourself by the doors of the ark, and all the beasts, the animals, and the birds shall assemble and place themselves before you, and whichever of them shall come and crouch before you, you shall take and give into the hands of your banim, who shall bring them to the ark, and all that will stand before you, you shall leave. And Yahuwah brought this about on the next day, and animals, beasts, and birds came in great multitudes and surrounded the ark. And Noah went and seated himself by the door of the ark, and of all flesh that crouched before him he brought into the ark, and all that stood before him he left upon the earth. And a lioness came with her 2 whelps, male and a female, and the 3 crouched before Noah, and the 2 whelps rose up against the lioness and smote her, and made her flee from her place, and she went away. And they returned to their places, and crouched upon the earth before Noah, and the lioness ran away, and stood in the place of the lions. And Noah saw this, and wondered greatly, and he rose and took the 2 whelps, and brought them into the ark. And Noah brought into the ark from all living creatures that were upon the earth, so that there was none left, but which Noah brought into the ark. 2 and 2 came to Noah into the ark, but from the clean animals and clean birds he brought 7 couples, as ALAHYM had commanded him. And all the animals and beasts and birds were still there, and they surrounded the ark at every place, and the rain had not fallen till 7 days after. And on that day Yahuwah caused the whole earth to shake, and the sun darkened, and the foundations of the world roared, and the whole earth was moved violently, and the lightning flashed, and the thunder roared, and all the fountains in the earth were broken up, such as was not known to the inhabitants before. And ALAHYM did this mighty act, in order to frighten the banim of men, that there might be no more evil upon the earth. And still the banim of men would not return from their evil ways, and they increased the wrath of Yahuwah at that time, and did not even direct their hearts to all this. And at the end of 7 days, in the 600th year of the height of Noah, the waters of the flood were upon the earth, and all the fountains of the deep were broken up, and the windows of the Shamayim were opened, and the rains were upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And Noah and his household and all the living creatures that were with him came into the ark because of the waters of the flood, and Yahuwah shut him in. And all the banim of men that were left upon the earth became exhausted through the evil because of the rain, for the waters were coming more violently upon the earth, and the animals and beasts were still surrounding the ark. And the banim of men assembled together, about 700,000 men and women, and they came unto Noah and to the ark. And they called to Noah, saying, Open for us, that we may come to you in the ark, for why should we die? And Noah, with a loud voice, answered them from the ark, saying, Have you not all rebelled against Yahuwah, and said that he does not exist? And therefore Yahuwah brought upon you all this evil to destroy and cut you off from the face of the earth. Is this not the word that I spoke to you 120 years ago, and you would not listen to the voice of Yahuwah? And now do you desire to live upon the earth? And they said to Noah, We are ready to return to Yahuwah. Only open for us that we may live and not die. And Noah answered them, saying, Look, now that you see the trouble of your beings, you want to return to Yahuwah. Why did you not return during these 120 years, which Yahuwah granted you as the determined period? But now you come and tell me this because of the troubles of your beings. Now also Yahuwah will not listen to you, neither will he give ear to you on this day, so that you will not now succeed in your desires. And the banim of men approached in order to break into the ark, to come in because of the rain, for they could not bear the rain upon them. And Yahuwah sent all the beasts and the animals that stood around the ark, and the beasts overpowered them and drove them from that place. And every man went his way, and they again scattered themselves upon the face of the earth. And the rain was still falling upon the earth, and it fell 40 days and 40 nights. And the waters were mighty on the earth, and all flesh that was on the earth or in the waters died, whether men, animals, beasts, creeping creatures, or birds of the air. And only Noah remained on those that were with him in the ark. And the waters were mighty, and they greatly increased upon the earth. And they lifted up the ark, and it was raised from the earth. And the ark floated on the face of the waters, and it was tossed upon the waters, so that all the living creatures within were turned about like stew in a pot. And great anxiety seized all the living creatures that were in the ark. And the ark was thought to be broken, and all living creatures that were in the ark were afraid. And the lions roared, and the oxen loud, and the wolves howled. And every living creature in the ark spoke and lamented in its own tongue, so that their voices reached to a great distance. And Noah and his banim cried and wept in their troubles. They were greatly afraid that they had reached the gates of death. And Noah prayed to Yahuwah and cried to him because of this. And he said, O Yahuwah, help us, for we have no strength to bear this evil that has come upon us. For the waves of the waters have surrounded us. Rushing torrents have frightened us. The snares of death have come before us. Answer us, O Yahuwah, answer us. Light up your face toward us, and be compassionate and favorable to us. Redeem us and deliver us. And Yahuwah listened to the voice of Noah, and Yahuwah remembered him. And a wind passed over the earth, and the waters were stilled, and the ark rested. And the Ruach passed over the earth, and the waters were stilled, and the ark rested. And the fountains of the deep and the windows of the Shamayim were stopped, and the rain from the Shamayim was withheld, and the waters decreased in those days. and the ark rested upon the mountains of Ararat. And Noah then opened the windows of the ark, and Noah still called out to Yahuwah at that time, and he said, O Yahuwah, who formed the earth and the Shamayim and all that are within, bring forth our beings from this confinement and from the prison wherein you have placed us, for I am much wearied with sighing. And Yahuwah listened to the voice of Noah and said to him, When you have completed a full year, you shall then go out. And at the turn of the year, when a full year was completed to Noah's dwelling in the ark, the waters were dried from off the face of the earth. And Noah took off the covering of the ark. At that time, on the 27th day of the second month, the earth was dry, but Noah and his banim and those that were with him did not go out from the ark until Yahuwah told them. And the day came that Yahuwah told them to go out, and they all went out from the ark. And they went and returned, every one to his way and to his place. And Noah and his banim dwelt in the land that ALAHYM had told them, and they served Yahuwah all their days. And Yahuwah Baruch Noah and his banim on their going out from the ark. And he said to them, Be fruitful and fill all the earth. Become strong and increase abundantly in the earth, and multiply. Barayshyt chapter 7. And Yahuwah said to Noah, Come into the ark, and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Of all clean beasts take with you 7 pairs of male and his female, and of all the beasts that are unclean 2, a male and his female. And of birds of the Shamayim 7 pairs, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days I am sending rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and shall wipe from the face of the earth all that stand that I created. And Noah did according to all that Yahuwah commanded him. Now Noah was 600 years old when the flood of the waters were on the earth. And Noah and his banim and his wife and his banim's wives went into the ark because of the waters of the flood, of the clean beasts, of the beasts that are unclean, and birds, and of all that creep on the earth. 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as ALAHYM had commanded Noah. And it came to be, after 7 days, that the waters of the flood were on the earth, in the 600th year of Noah's Chai, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month. On that day, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the Shamayim were opened, and the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that same day, Noah and Sham and Ham and Yafet, the banim of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his banims with them went into the ark. They and every living creature after its kind, and every beast of after its kind, and every creeping creature that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, and every bird of every sort. And after they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2 of all flesh, in which is the breath of Chai, and those going in, male and female of all flesh, went in as ALAHYM had commanded him, and Yahuwah shut them in. And the flood was on the earth 40 days, and the waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the Arets. And the waters were mighty, and greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved about on the surface of the waters, and the waters were exceedingly mighty on the earth, and all the high mountains under the Shamayim were covered. The waters became mighty, 15 amah upward, and the mountains were covered, and all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts, and every creeping creature that creeps on the earth, and all mankind. All in whose nostrils was the breath of Chai, of the Ruach of Chai, all that was on the dry land died. So he wiped off all that stand, which were on the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature and bird of the Shamayim, and they were wiped off from the earth, and only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. And the waters were mighty on the earth 150 days. Chapter 8. And ALAHYM remembered Noah, and all the beasts, and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And ALAHYM made a wind, a ruach, to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided, and the fountains of the deep and the windows of the Shamayim were stopped, and the rain from the Shamayim was withheld, and the waters receded steadily from the earth. And at the end of the 150 days the waters diminished. And in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased steadily until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, the tops of the mountains became visible. And it came to be at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent out a raven which kept going out and turning back until the waters had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove from him to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place for its feet, and returned into the ark to him, for the waters were on the face of all the earth. So he put out his hand and took it and pulled it into the ark to himself. And he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out from the ark. And the dove came to him in the evening, and see, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in its mouth. And Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. And he waited yet another 7 days, and sent out the dove, which did not return to him again. And it came to be in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the 1st day of the month, that the waters were dried up from the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and saw the surface of the ground was dry. And in the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. And ALAHYM spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, you and your wife, and your banim, and your banim's wives with you. Bring out with you every living creature of all flesh that is with you, of birds, of cattle, and all creeping creatures that creep on the earth, and let them teem on the earth, and bear and increase on them on the earth. So Noah went out, and his banim, and his wife, and his banim's wife with them. Every beast, every creature, every creeping creature, and every bird, whatever creeps on the earth, according to their kinds, went out of the ark. And Noah built an altar to Yahuwah, and took of every clean beast, and of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And Yahuwah smelled a soothing fragrance. And Yahuwah said in his heart, Never again shall I curse the ground because of man, although the inclination of man's heart is evil from his youth, and never again smite all his chai as I have done. As long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease. And ALAHYM Baruch Noah and his Banim, and said to them, Be fruitful and increase and fill the earth. Yubalym, Jubilees, chapter 6. And on the new moon of the 3rd month, he went out from the ark and built an altar on the mountain. And he made atonement for the earth, and took a young goat, and made atonement with its blood for all the guilt of the earth, for all that had been on it been destroyed, except those that were in the ark with Noah. And he placed the fat of it on the altar. And he took a bull, and a goat, and a male goat, and salt, and a turtle dove, and the young pigeon, and placed a burnt offering on the altar, and poured an offering on it mixed with oil, and sprinkled wine, and spread frankincense all over it, and caused a sweet fragrance to arise acceptable before Yahuwah. And Yahuwah smelled the sweet fragrance, and he made a covenant with him, that there should no longer be a flood to destroy the earth, that all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, should never cease, cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night should not change their order, nor cease forever. And you increase and multiply upon the earth, and become numerous upon it, and be a barakah upon it. The fear of you and the dread of you I shall inspire in all that is on the earth and in the sea. And see, I have given to you all the beasts, and all flying creatures, and all that moves on the earth, and the fish in the waters, and all matters for food. As the green plants, I have given you all matters to eat. But flesh with its chai, with the blood, you shall not eat. For the chai of all flesh is in the blood, lest your blood of your chai be required. So, before Hanuk, we see Yahuwah only commanded to eat. He only commanded Adam and Eve to eat of the plants, of the fruits and the vegetables, and of the nuts. And here he's just telling Noah that he can now eat of all the meats, of all the animals that are clean, that are considered clean. Like, that's already an established idea. That's why he took 7 that were clean, and the unclean there were 2. Why just 2 of the unclean? To let them mate and populate, because I'm not eating those. But why 7 of the clean? Because we gotta eat some of that meat while we're here on this boat. So they probably ate like meat once every few months, or once a month or something. That's a lot of meat. But flesh with its chai, with the blood, you shall not eat. For the chai of all flesh is in the blood, lest your blood of your chai be required. At the hand of every man, and at the hand of every beast, I shall require the blood of man. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of ALAHYM he has been made, and you increase and multiply on the earth. And Noah and his banim swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh, and he made a covenant before Yahuwah ALAHYM forever throughout all the generations of the earth in this month. On this account he spoke to you that you should make a covenant with the children of Yashar in this month upon the mountain with an oath, and that you should sprinkle blood upon them because of all the words of the covenant which Yahuwah made with them forever. I was just thinking how we are actually in that same month right now when this all happened. Think even to the day, the 17th day of that month. Yeah, I believe we're around that. And you shall command the children of Yashar to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before Yahuwah your ALAHYM continually. And for this law there is no limit of days, for it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue atonement on your behalf with blood before the altar every day, and at the time of morning and evening they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf continually before Yahuwah, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. And he gave Noah and his banim a sign that there should not be a flood on the earth again. He placed his rainbow in the cloud for a sign of the everlasting covenant, that there should not be a flood again on the earth to destroy it all the days of the earth. For this reason it is ordained and written on the tablets of the Shamaim that they should celebrate the festival of Shabbat in this month once a year, to renew the covenant every year. And this whole festival was celebrated in the Shamaim from the day of creation to the days of Noah, 26 Yubalym and 5 weeks of years. And Noah and his banim observed it for 7 Yubalym and 1 week of years, to the day of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death his banim forsook it until the days of Abraham, and they ate blood. But Abraham observed it, and Yitzchak and Jacob and his children observed it upon your days. And in your days the children of Yashar forgot it until you celebrated it anew on this mountain. Real quick context of Jubilees, Yubalym. This is actually some Malakim and Masha on top of Mount Sinai around that time, writing this account again from the creation. So that's why you hear the creation story, but then you hear Abraham, Isaac, Jacob already, and Yashar. If we did the beginning already, go back to Yom 1. And also, I wanted to correct myself yesterday when I did Jubilees 5, and I said that, this is the reckoning of Jubilees, which is every 7 years. My bad. A Jubilee is every 50 years. It's actually 7 times 7 periods, which is 49. But the 50th is like the sabbatical year of years. You know what I mean? Like there's a weeks of weeks, and there's a years of years, and so the Yubal year is actually every 50 years. So when you do, we talked about on Yom 5, when it said, I shall not strive with man forever, but their days shall be 120. We just read earlier in Yashar that was a literal 120 years to Nabah, to the people of the earth, that the destruction is coming. And I gave you 120 years, and you didn't listen. Here's the flood, right? We just read that in Genesis and Yashar. But in the book of Yubalym, it's giving us a prophetic clue, because everything is reckoned by this Jubilee cycle periods. That's why it's like, 2 Jubilees in the weeks of years, which is talking about like, a 7-year period or whatever. So when it says 120 years, I said 120 times 7. I meant 120 times 50, because it's 120 times a Jubilee year. So a Jubilee is like a year in another dimensional reckoning of time. In another dimensional of reckoning of time, in another dynamic, there's the hour hand, you got your minute hand, it goes a little bit faster, then you got your second hand. Well, a Jubilee is its own time frame. And so if you use that and take 120, I shall not strive with man, their years shall be 120. Well, let's use the Jubilee year, or Jubilee method of counting, and you do 120 times a Jubilee cycle, you get exactly 6,000 years, which is pretty cool. 120 times 50, 6,000. And that kind of bears witness to the prophetic, the Nabawatic understanding that creation is 7,000 years long. It's not billions of years. It's only 6,000 years. I don't care what scientists tell you. They lie. It's a great delusion. Scientists lie. And so it's all a big delusion. It's all a big lie. I don't care if it looks like they got proved just because they got machines. That's what it means, trust in idols. We read in Hanuk that the world perishes because they trusted in what their hands have built. All this technology, and we think it's magical and it's like perfect because it proves things up. It proves other things out to be perfect, right? Scientific methods and cars and all these creations. So that's how they trick us. So then they tell us the world is not 6,000 years and all this, but like billions of years. Lies. He who is only going to strive with man for 6,000 years, going into the 7,000 year period, which is the millennial reign, then comes the judgment. 6,000 is bringing the judgment too at the end. And you shall command the children of Yashar to observe the festival in all their generations, for a command unto them. 1 day in the year of this month they shall celebrate the festival, for it is the festival of Shabbat and the festival of first fruits. The feast is twofold and a double nature, according to what is written and engraved concerning it. Celebrate it. For I have written in the book of the first Torah, there's the book of the first Torah, and that which I have written for you, that you should celebrate it in its season, 1 day in the year. And I explain to you its slaughterings, that the children of Yashar should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, 1 day in every year, and on the new moon, and on the first month, and on the new moon of the 4th month, and on the new moon of the 7th month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance, and the days of the seasons in the 4 divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a witness forever. So so it just said that you celebrate certain festival harvest celebrations, at the first of the first month, the first of the 4th, the first of the 7th, and the 10th. And these are the quarter months. These are, that break down the year. You got 3 months from spring to summer, 3 months from summer to fall, and 3 months from fall to winter, then 3 months again to the first month. And it's like, you've seen the chart. And so this is where we have a debate about the Hanuk calendar, keeping the feast, and what we use according to the lunisolar, like what we've kind of were inherited. We see that that's like a Jewish thing. And here's the thing, I've actually tried this before, and it doesn't work. And actually, what was recorded and said about the way it's said to keep the feast, according to what we have in Barayshyt, according to what we have in the Tanakh, like Exodus, Shamut, and Numbers, and Leviticus, and all that, Deuteronomy, they line up perfectly with the harvest feast. I have found that to be true. Using a principle from the Enoch calendar, I use the solar cycle to reckon the year when it's the equinox, and then the new moon after that. That's why I say I didn't call it lunisolar. I call it solar luni. Solar first, and then the moon, and then that starts your first month for the feast. And then when you keep it, on the 15th day and all this and that, it's always, the harvest is always right on point. And so I would recommend to make this like still a remembrance. It says it's a remembrance. You can still be mindful about these certain days. Like, these are basically the equinox, the winter solstice. That's the days it's talking about, and it's saying have the feast on those days. You can do both. You can sort of like do a remembrance more to it of Hanuk, and I mean, but I think the other way is still valid. I think that's the truth. Yeah, I have. Thank you. And so Noah ordained them for himself as festivals for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial to him. And on the new moon of the first month, he was told to make an ark. And on that day, the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the fourth month, the mouths of the depths of the abysses beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the seventh month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend into them. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. And on account of this, he ordained them for himself as festivals for a memorial forever. And thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the tablets of the Shamayim. Each had 13 weeks. Their memorial passed from one to another, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the command shall be 52 weeks of days, and these shall make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraved and ordained on the tablets of the Shamayim, and there is no neglecting this command for a single year, or from year to year. And you shall command the children of Yashar that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days, and these shall constitute a complete year. And they shall not disturb its time from its days and from its festivals, from all shall fall out in them according to their witness, and they shall not leave out any day, nor disturb any festivals. But if they neglect and do not observe them according to his command, then they shall disturb all their seasons, and the years shall be dislodged from this order, and they shall neglect their laws. And all the children of Yashar shall forget, and shall not find the past of the years, and shall forget the new moons, and seasons, and Shabbatut, and they shall go astray as to all the order of the years. And real quick, I know the original doesn't say, new moon. It says like the Rosh Kadash, and that means like just the head. Like the word Rosh is from the R word, letter in Hebrew, Rash, is the head, and that means the head of the seasons or just the head of the times. And so there's different Rash Kadash. As a matter of fact, the Ruach, is like new moon, the Rash Kadash for like the months, and then there's a Rash Kadash for the seasons, which are the equinoxes, like the well, if you look up the Hebrew, there's no O in there, it's just Rash, it's just R and Sh, Rash Kadash. And so the Ruach tells me to go to the ancient path, go even further before the man-made, tamper with, European, vowel points and all that. So I'm not a vowel pointer guy. I'm just straight, like, you see the letters, that's what you say, and the only word, vowel between is ah, what I'm saying, or ooh and all that, but ah, mainly ah, and if there's a ooh is its own. Anyways, so yeah, so when it's talking about Rash Kadash, he's referring to the Rash Kadash of the heads of the seasons. So there's the Rash Kadash at the seasons, and there's a Rash Kadash for the months. And in that, he says that right here. If you notice in the context, it says, and the children of Yashar shall forget and shall not find the past of the years, and shall forget the new moons and seasons. See, it's talking about the Rash Kadash of the new moons and the Rash Kadash of the seasons, the heads of the new moons, the heads of the seasons, and the Shabbatut, and they shall go astray as to all the order of the years. For I know, and from this time on I shall declare it to you, and it is not of my own devising, for the book is written before me, and on the tablets of the Shamayim the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the festivals of the covenant, and walk according to the festivals of the Gentiles after their strain and after their ignorance. For there shall be those who shall assuredly make observation of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons, and comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. Alright, so now it's like, wait a minute. So notice it's talking about how they shall make observation of the moon, and how it comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. So this is talking about people that will use the moon to reckon the year, because it comes in the year 10 days too soon. So if you're using the moon to reckon the year, your year is going to be off 10 days every year. That's like what you see in China, right? China uses a lunar calendar, right, for months and a year. And so their seasons get mixed up, because the solar calendar is what keeps the seasons intact. So that's what he's referring to, people that use the moon for the year. We use the sun, and then the moon identifies the months for the festivals for the harvest. And the feasts, the seasons still go according to the sun. So that's still an Enoch, that principle is still going on. It's like one layer of the feast with what was given by Masha, with using the sun for the year, and then the moon for the months for the feast. And you can still use the sun for the year, and then count every 30 days, and then the 31st day for the changing of the seasons. Those will help change the seasons. But the festivals go according to the moon, because the harvest don't work like exactly like that with just using Hanuk. Gotta use the moon. They both work together. So that's my understanding. For this reason I command and witness for you, that you may witness to them. For after your death your children shall confuse them, so that they shall not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason they shall go astray as to the moons, and to the seasons, and the Shabbatut, and the festivals. And they shall eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. Yeah, sometimes they happen naturally. I make ooh sounds. Sometimes they come out like oh, like ooh oh, but I'm not gonna like say it's an O, because Hebrew is supposed to be like the way it is, ooh, and then like make it O, then ah, then E, then all these different letters. That's where it gets a little, I think what we hear babies say is natural. Babies say baba, gaga, dada, balaka, babaka. You know what I'm saying? And those are the natural sounds. And that's where Hebrew, I think, Paleo is strong in that. Matityahu, chapter 4. Then Yahusha was led up by the Ruach into the wilderness to be tried by the devil, and after having fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. And the trier came and said to him, If you are the bond of Yahuwah, command that these stones become bread. But he answering said, It has been written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yahuwah. Then the devil took him up into the Kadash city, put him on the edge of the Mikdash, and said to him, If you are the bond of Yahuwah, throw yourself down, for it has been written, He shall command His Malachim concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, so that you do not dash your foot against a stone. Yahusha said to him, It has also been written, You shall not try Yahuwah your ALAHYM. Again the devil took him up on a very high mountain, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their esteem, and said to him, All these I shall give you, if you fall down and worship me. Then Yahusha said to him, Go, Hashatan, for it has been written, You shall worship Yahuwah your ALAHYM, and Him alone you shall serve. Then the devil left him, and see, Malachim came to attend him. And Yahusha, having heard that Yahuchanan had been in prison, withdrew into Galilee, and leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum, which is by the sea, in the border of Zabulon and Naphtali, to fill what was spoken by Yashayahu the Nabi, saying, Land of Zabulon and land of Naphtali, the way of the sea, beyond the Yarden, Galilee of the Gentiles, the people who sat in darkness saw a great light, and upon those who sat in the land and shadow of death, light arose to them. From that time, Yahusha began to proclaim and say to them, Repent, for the reign of the Shamayim has drawn near. And Yahusha, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brothers, Shimon, called Kapha, and Andri, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, Follow me, and I shall make you fishermen of men. And immediately they left their nets and followed him. And going out from there, he saw two other brothers, Yaqub and Zabdi, Zabdai, and Yahuchanan, his brother, in the boat with Zabdai, their father, mending their nets. And he called them, and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. And Yahusha went about to all Galilee, teaching in their congregations and proclaiming the tube news of the reign, and healing every disease and every bodily weakness among the people. And news about him went out into all Syria, and they brought to him all who were sick, afflicted with various diseases and pains, and those who were demon-possessed, and epileptics, and paralytics, and he healed them. And large crowds from Galilee, and Decapolis, and Jerusalem, and Yehuda, and beyond the Yarden followed him. First Peter, verse Caphar, chapter 2. Having put aside then all evil, and all deceit, and all hypocrisies, and envying, and all evil words, as newborn infants, desire the unadulterated milk of the word, in order that you grow by it, if indeed you have tasted that the Adon is too. Draw near to him, a living stone, rejected indeed by men, but chosen by Yahuwah, and precious. You also, as living stones, are being built up, a Ruachal house, a Kadash Kahuna, to offer up Ruachal slaughter offerings, acceptable to Yahuwah, through Yahusha HaMashiach, because it is contained in the scripture, See, I lay in Sion a chief cornerstone, chosen, precious, and he who believes and trusts in me, on him shall by no means be put to shame. This esteem then is for you who believe and trust, but to those who are disobedient, the stone which the builder rejects has become the chief cornerstone, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock that makes for falling, who stumble because they are disobedient to the word, to which they also were appointed. But you are a chosen race, a royal kahuna, a Kadash nation, a people for a possession, that you should proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, who once were not a people, but now the people of ALAHYM, who had not obtained compassion, but now obtain compassion. Beloved ones, I appeal to you as sojourners and pilgrims to abstain from fleshly lusts which battle against your being, having your behavior among the Gentiles too, so that when they speak against you as evildoers, let them, by observing your two works, esteem ALAHYM in a day of visitation, be subject to every institution of man, because the Adon, whether to the sovereign as supreme, or to the governors, as to those who are sent by him, for the punishment of doers of evil, and a praise for those who do too, because such is the desire of ALAHYM, that by doing too you should put to silence the ignorance of foolish men, as free, yet not using your freedom as a cloak for evil, but as servants of ALAHYM. Respect all, love the brotherhood, revere ALAHYM, respect the sovereign. Servants, be subject to your masters with all reverence, not only to the tube and gentle, but also to the crooked ones, for this is favor, because of conscience toward ALAHYM anyone bears up under grief, suffering unrighteously, for what credit is there enduring a beating when you sin? But if you suffer for doing too, and you endure, this is favor with ALAHYM. For to this you were called, because Mashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps, who committed no sin, nor was deceit found in his mouth, who being reviled did not revile in return, suffering did not threaten, but committed to him who judges righteously, who himself bore our sins in his body on the timber, so that we, having died to sins, might live unto righteousness, but by whose stripes you were healed. For you were like sheep going astray, but have now returned to the shepherd and overseer of your beings. Chapter 3. In the same way, wives, be subject to your own husband, so that if any are disobedient to the word, they, without a word, might be won by the behavior of their wives, having seen your blameless behavior and reverence. Your world should not be outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, or putting on dresses, but the hidden man of the heart, with the incorruptible ornament of a meek and peaceable ruach, which is of great value before ALAHYM. For in this way, in former times, the Kadash women who trusted in ALAHYM also adorned themselves, being subject to their own husband, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him master, of whom you became children, doing too, and not frightened by any fear. In the same way, husbands, live understandingly together, giving respect to the wife as to the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the compassion and favor of Chai, so that your prayers are not hindered. To sum up, let all of you be like-minded, sympathetic, loving as brothers, tender-hearted, humble-minded, not returning evil for evil, or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, barakah, knowing that you were called to this, in order to inherit a barakah. For he who was to love Chai and see 2 days, let him keep his tongue from evil, and his lips from speaking deceit. Let him turn away from evil and do too. Let him seek peace, shalom, and pursue it, because the eyes of Yahuwah are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayers. But the face of Yahuwah is against those who do evil. And who is the one doing evil to you, if you become imitators of the two? But even if you suffer for righteousness' sake, you are Baruch, and do not fear their threats, neither be troubled, but Kadash Yahuwah ALAHYM in your hearts, and always be ready to give an answer to everyone asking you a reason concerning the expectation that is in you, with meekness and reverence, having a true conscience, so that when they speak against you as doers of evil, those who falsely accuse your true behavior in Mashiach shall be ashamed. For it is better, if it is the desire of ALAHYM, to suffer for doing two than for doing evil, because even Mashiach once suffered for all sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring you to ALAHYM, having been put to death, indeed, in the flesh, but made alive in the Ruach, in which also he went, and proclaimed unto the spirits in prison, who were disobedient at one time, when the patience of ALAHYM waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was being prepared, in which a few, that is, 8 beings, were saved through the water. Which figure now also saves us, immersion, not a putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a tube conscience, according to ALAHYM, through the resurrection of Yahusha HaMashiach, who having gone into Shamayim is at the right hand of Yahuwah, Malakim and authorities and powers having been subjected to him. Need to fix something. Which figure now also saves us, immersion, not a putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a true conscience toward ALAHYM, through the resurrection of Yahusha HaMashiach, who having gone into Shamayim is at the right hand of Yahuwah, Malachim and authorities and powers having been subjected to him. ALAHYM, Psalms chapter 3. See, I am sending my Malach, and he shall prepare the way before me. Then suddenly the Adon you are seeking comes to his Haikal, even the Malach of the covenant, in whom you delight. See, he is coming, says Yahuwah Sabaoth. And who is able to bear the day of his coming? And who is able to stand when he appears? For he is like the fire of a refiner, and like the soap of a launderer. And he shall sit as a refiner, and a cleanser of silver. And he shall cleanse the banim of Lawi, and refine them as gold and silver. And they shall belong to Yahuwah, bringing near an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Yahudah and Yerushalayim be pleasant to Yahuwah, as in the days of old, as in former years. And I shall draw near to you for right ruling, and I shall be a swift witness against the practicers of witchcraft, and against adulterers, and against them that swear to falsehood, and against those who oppress the wage earner and his wages, and widows, and the fatherless, and those who turn away a sojourner, and do not revere me, said Yahuwah Sabaoth. For I am Yahuwah, I shall not change, and you, O Banim of Yaakov, shall not come to an end. From the days of your fathers you have turned aside from my laws, and did not guard them. Turn back to me, and I shall turn back to you, said Yahuwah Sabaoth. But you said, and what shall we turn back? Would a man rob ALAHYM? Yet you are robbing me. But you said, in what way have we robbed you? In the tithe offering. You have cursed me with the curse, for you are robbing me. You are robbing me, this nation, all of it. Oh, my bad. That was Malachi, chapter 3. But that was very on point. No accident. ALAHYM, Psalms, chapter 3. Make sure you tie, that's what that's about. A psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his bond. O Yahuwah, how my adversaries have increased, many rising up against me. Many are saying of me, there is no deliverance for him in ALAHYM. There's no deliverance for him in ALAHYM, Salah. But you, O Yahuwah, are a shield for me, my esteem, and the one lifting up my head. I cried to Yahuwah with my voice, and he heard me from his Kadash mountain, Salah. I lay down and slept. I awoke, for Yahuwah sustained me. I am not afraid of 10,000s of people who have turned themselves against me all around. Arise, O Yahuwah, save me, O my ALAHYM, because you have smitten all my enemies on the cheek. You have broken the teeth of the wicked. Deliverance belongs to Yahuwah. Your barakah is on your people. Salah. This concludes Yom 6, reading the whole Caphar in the 50th year of Yubal. With this, I bid you a farewell. May Abba Yahuwah favor you and increase you. Abba Yahuwah guard you and protect you and strengthen you. Abba Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be compassionate towards you and be favorable towards you. Abba Yahuwah lift his countenance upon you and fill you with shalom and fill you with all the fruit of the Ruach. I pray and palau and petition this by the power of the blood of the Lamb of the renewed covenant and by the power and authority of King YAHUSHA Mashiach, our Adon, our ALAHYM, our King of Kings, and our Prince of Peace, and our Kuhan Hagadol, and our Aish, forever and ever. Aman and Aman and Aman. Hallelujah, YAHUSHA. Shalom, shalom, Yashar, and Shabbat shalom, Mashbaka, and Shabbat shalom to all the Kudashim and the Natsarim, the remnant. Love you all. Shalom.